Trekkies are back with another Star Trek Picard review. Beam me up! This week's Star Trek Picard Season 2 episode is certainly a cool one to begin with. Whether exploring what the Borg Queen is up to, inspirational speeches from Picard like the good old TNG days, or just simply some fascinating Agnes Jurati moments, the episode is pulling out all the punches. Of course, this week is an exciting one for Star Trek, as not only do we have First Contact Day this week, with the Next Generation cast announcement, but we've also got Mission Chicago, the official Star Trek convention, this weekend. If you're going out there, enjoy yourself and be sure to follow along with Trek Central on social media to gather the latest news and details. Unfortunately, we couldn't be there this year due to technical difficulties, however next year, we'll be beaming down with you. So TNG I say, in case you've been under a rock since Tuesday, yes, the cast of Star Trek The Next Generation are returning for Star Trek Picard Season 3. We've got a full video and article, both linked in the video description. Explore it, and if you need any more information and details on this, do tweet us and we'll provide anything we can. Spoiler warning, as usual we'll be discussing and reviewing the full episode of Star Trek Picard Season 2 Episode 6, as well as the whole of Season 2, so turn away now if you haven't watched, you've been warned. Welcome to Trek Central, I'm your host Captain Jack, and let's get straight into it. Episode 6 of Season 2 revolves around last week's gala adventure. We're also treated to several traumatic flashbacks for Jean-Luc, after he suffered a little accident, shall we say. Jonathan Frakes is directing this episode, as Picard directors have blocks, so each director gets 2 episodes to work with. Writers Cindy Appel and Jane Maggs have also followed on from episode 5 as well. Like always, before we do dive into this video, if you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. We're also very close to 100k subscribers here on the channel and warping our way towards it. So if you want to help out, please consider sharing my channel and follow us on social media. We're also extremely close to 100k subscribers here on YouTube. So if you want to help out, consider sharing my channel with a friend and following us on social media. If you're a fan of Picard, and as always, please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Because if you are talking about the Star Trek universe, then we want to hear about it. Okay? Engage. So one thing this episode of Picard does is bring to life all the small details. A prime example of this is Rios acclimatizing to the 21st century, such as discovering how matches were packaged in this century, along with Jean-Luc commenting on how 21st century humans focus so much on their mobile devices. Episode 6 also sees the return of actress Sol Rodriguez as Teresa Ramirez, the doctor who helped out Chris Rios when he managed to beam through a balcony. She does get the cliche time travel line of, "Who are you?" when talking to Rios about his weird friends and why giving medical attention to Jean-Luc, who she is unaware is a synthetic life form. It was kind of odd and is out of character for a human, you've got to think. Throughout this episode, we're also teased with these flashbacks of either Jean-Luc in some sort of medical emergency or his past with his mother, both traumatic events in Picard's life so far. With the second season, we've been teased about Jean-Luc's mother, but there has not been much advancement on that little story element until today's conversation with Renee Picard. I've got to say before we dive deeper into this episode, as for the whole of the second season, Alison Pill as Dr. Agnes Jurati has been doing a standout performance. Seriously, lights out, and then she sings away into the gala event. Not only is this some outstanding writing, but also a Galaxy-class performance from Alison herself. Coupled with a performance alongside Annie Wersching's performance as the Borg Queen, not only as herself, but also as the illusion inside Jurati's head that is written ever so well. Of course, as many did suspect, including myself, the Borg Queen has assimilated Jurati and finally taken full control over her body and mind, it would seem. While not getting all the focus it would seem, the rest of Picard's crew are performing well. Now I do think we've already had a good amount of focus on Raffi, 7 of 9 and Elnor through the first 2 episodes of Season 2. We've still got a way to go. For instance, Raffi is dealing with trauma and grief after seeing a hallucination of Elnor both last week and this week. We've still got that trailer moment where we think Elnor needs to come back and do something. I mean, he's walking around in the trailer when apparently he's dead. So anything's possible. I am calling it though, the Borg Queen, or rather Agnes Jurati's queen, revives Elnor using Borg nanoprobes. Sort of like a Borg zombie. I mean, this is Star Trek, anything is possible at this point. Speaking about Borg, there is a nice little detail of 7 of 9, where Raffi points out that while she does not have the implants of a Borg right now, she can let her head down and be a bit more human about things. Probably the first time in a lifetime. We knew that Adam Soong, after his introduction, would play some sort of role in meddling with the future, thanks to Q's interference with his character. His meeting and introduction of Picard was a rough and tense one. most of Jean-Luc was thinking what we were all thinking at the time. Is this person Data, given the facial similarity between the Soong family members? We're already aware that thanks to other iterations of the Soong family tree, that some of them are unhinged to say the least. Throughout this episode, it becomes clear that Adam Soong is in fact a mad scientist, who has violated many of eugenics conventions, such as the Shenzhen Convention. These were put in place in the 21st century to stop eugenics. Obviously it's likely related to the eugenics wars, a highly critical event in the history of the Star Trek universe. Soong's daughter, Corey, also makes the discovery that her father is indeed the mad scientist that the world knows him as. Given his car crash attempt against Jean-Luc and Rene Picard in order to eliminate the roadblock for Q. Kinda saw him fail. Well done. Corey then ventured into Adam's files and discovered what her father had done. It seems he created clones of her, or other versions of her. I don't know, it's not quite clear on that explanation just yet, but it's quite confusing. One of our theories from the preview for this week, and sort of from last week's episode, is that Adam Soong still has a critical role to play in the past. There was a line in episode 5 that mentioned he was involved with experiments on soldiers, part of an operation called Spearhead. We could theorise this isn't much of a throwaway line, and in fact critical to the plot perhaps. Experimental soldiers would certainly slow down Picard's crew and perhaps inhibit the Europa mission as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Corey Soong is either another attempt at eugenics and experiments on creating an advanced human, or some sort of weaponized human, being that appears to have been cloned. The plot point has to be expanded upon going into the second season and rounding it off, so it's something to look forward to, I hope, and isn't just swept under the rug. The focus on Jean-Luc this week was an interesting one for sure. His conversation with Rene Picard, his ancestor, was something we had expected and predicted since her introduction in the second season. Of course, it had to be Jean-Luc to make the stance and give her the boost of confidence that she would need. Sure, it does play well, but I can't help feeling like this is a typical sci-fi trope but is used in time travel. During this episode, there is a touching moment for Tallinn, aka the Watcher, and Picard, especially she turns around and talks to him about Laris, but Jean-Luc asks who is watching over her. You can tell not only through the writing of this episode and the second season, but also through Sir Patrick's acting that Picard still thinks heavily of Laris. It's likely that with the timeline change, and as revealed in Season 2 Episode 1, Picard never got to fully say what he wanted to Laris, nor express his feelings so deeply to her, if that is indeed the road he wants to go down. When you take a step out of a moment and think about it, the fact this show is called Star Trek Picard does really make sense. Originally we thought the series was just named that because they ran out of ideas. But when you see how Season 2 is playing out, and coupled with the first and upcoming third season, you can see that this entire series is a character study on Jean-Luc Picard as a character. Season 3 also seems to be touching on that based on what we know so far. As mentioned earlier, we're now seeing more developments such as the Next Generation cast returning for a final and proper send-off. Showrunner Terry Matalas has teased that while it's a dream come true, we're also going to be seeing lots of Starship action and much more coming down the pipeline. I'm really looking forward to what the future holds for the Star Trek universe. Now once again, one of my gripes with the second season is that it's starting to drag a little bit. Now it could be that I'm simply enjoying the show so much and losing track of time while watching the series. That could simply be it. However, I find myself, particularly with this episode, disappointed when the episode ends, as I'm still expecting something else. This episode spent more time than the previous building the anticipation of Jean-Luc battling his internal mental trauma surrounding his mother. As viewers, we're then cut off with a teaser of Jurati walking down the road, apparently going out on some sort of adventure, as we're aware the Queen has now taken over fully. Maybe I'm just getting lost in the episode, but the cliffhangers like this, especially with the episode just making the plot feel more dragged out. We'll see if this really is the case with the second season once things wrap up in about 4 weeks' time. Yes, that is right, only 4 weeks until we've got the end of Star Trek Picard Season 2, and the start of our next adventure, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Boy, it's an exciting time to be a Star Trek fan. Oh, one last thing before I end off today's review of Picard. Some of you might know the actor James Callis. Well, personally, I strongly believe that he'll be showing up in Star Trek Picard Season 2 or Season 3. Check out my article on trekcentral.net to see the latest developments on this, including some details you don't want to miss. Make it so. So, what are your thoughts on this week's episode of Star Trek Picard Season 2? This week's personal and interconnection in relationships, as well as touching on the details of the 21st century, were fantastic in my opinion. But as usual, tell us what you think in the video comment section below, because if we are talking about Star Trek, then of course we want to hear about it. If you do want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server to continue the conversation. Okay, for now I've been Captain Jack here on Trek Central, thanks for watching, and I'll be back very soon with more Star Trek Picard content. Live long and prosper, my friends, goodbye.